Hey everybody, Jimmy Wilder here from J76 Gaming, and I'm back with another Final Fantasy VII Remake guide. Today's guide is the Hell House fight. This is a story fight, it's not optional, so you're going to run into it, and it can be a little bit of a challenge, but once you figure it out, it's pretty simple. So we'll go through the abilities that it's going to use, the phases of the fight, some helpful materia, and then a general strategy for the fight. Okay, the first thing I want to bring up is the assessment, and there is some useful information in here. So if you look in the fight description, it covers the barrier shifts, opposing elements, and God House mode. Those are important. We'll go over those more later. Other important information is the weaknesses and the absorbed elements. Once again, we'll go over those more later, but it is important to know that the house does have an element. It does change, and you want to use the opposing magic to do damage to it. Okay, with all that said, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the materia that you're going to want to use, and then the abilities and the phases of the fight. So it should be pretty obvious by now that the materia that you're going to need are going to be all of the elements, so you're going to want one of each at least. It worked out good for me to have Aerith with all of the magic, and Cloud just using Cure and whatever offensive abilities he's going to be using. Okay, so before we get into the abilities and the phases of the fight, if you're more visual and you would rather just watch the fight with some notes at the bottom, go ahead and skip ahead to the end of the video where I just go through the fight, and you won't hurt my feelings, it's okay. But if you would rather hear more about each of the abilities, we'll go through those right now. Phase 1. Phase 1 starts, it's very elemental, as in you want to look at the house, see what element is, and cast the opposing magic. Barrier shift is when the element changes. Chair salvo is a massive attack where it launches a bunch of chairs, so you want to either block them or run out of the way. House call is a jump and slam, so stay out of the way, don't let it land on you. And hospitality is when you're attacking from the front and the door opens and it sucks you in and does a lot of damage, so don't do that. Attack from the sides. Phase 2 is a little bit different. It's all physical, so just get in there, do as much damage as you can. The only changes in abilities are Housing Rush and Rocket Charge, and both of those are where the house charges at you at different speeds. Housing Rush is, for whatever reason, I can't possibly dodge it. I get hit by it every time. And Rocket Charge has a big build up, and it's easy to get out of the way. Just wait, and then jump out of the way. Now, Phase 3 is when it kind of gets a little bit difficult. I think Phase 3 is actually harder than Phase 4, and it felt like the longest phase also. There's quite a few more abilities, and we're back to the elemental mechanic from the Phase 1. So look at the element, cast your magic, and then get in there and do physical damage. So new abilities are Housing Shock. It's just AoE thunder around the house. Renewed Hospitality is basically the same as Hospitality, just a different name. Jet Stream is new, and that's a rear-facing attack. It's fire coming out of the rear of the house, but it does spin, so you can't just be on the side and miss it. But the big changes are Heavensward and Hellbound. So Heavensward is the house will jump up, start flying around, and it will do like chair salvo while it's up there. But the cool thing is it's really easy to avoid. So once it jumps up in the air, just find it and then run behind it. Just run in a circle and you'll be fine. Now, it gets difficult when it's Hellbound, because Hellbound likes to always land on me somehow, but it's just basically house call. It goes from up in the air and jumps down to slams the ground. So try to avoid it if you can. So Phase 4, much like Phase 3, but a lot shorter, and by now you have your limit built, so just wait for your opportunity and then lay waste to the house. Chair Salvo is now deluxe, and Rocket Charge is now double, which they're basically the same, just different names. Jetstream is still there, Heavensward and Hellbound are still there. The one thing I didn't talk about yet is the God House mode, and really that's just a fancy name for barrier. So when the barrier goes up, there's not much you can do. So I just go in there and try to fight through it. And once that barrier drops, that's the key part though. Once the barrier drops, that's when you can do a lot of damage and build the stagger quickly. So as soon as God mode comes up, try to get in there, just whack, 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 whack. And as soon as it drops, just go to town. And really, we already kind of covered the general strategy. It's basically just when the house has an element to it, you cast the opposing magic and then get in there and do your damage. And then when it's God house mode, get in there and get ready to do your damage. I mean, that's really all there is to it. That and then avoiding the other massive attacks or curing, healing through it. So, like I said, it's really pretty straightforward. Just attack when you can, dodge when you have to. Alright, before we get into the video of the fight itself, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope that you liked it. I hope that you learned something in this video. And if you did, go ahead and drop me a like. I would appreciate it. And subscribe is always appreciated, always welcome. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the fight.
The Cup's final battle begins now! Oh, the battle is joined! And already I can tell you this bonus match will not disappoint!
Don't overdo it.
Here goes.
This couple has fought the toughest of the tough, the meanest of the mean.
That's it.
But can they handle the horror of the Hell House?
Let's do this.
Who will come out on top? Strap yourselves in, folks, because this show is only getting started! No trespassers allowed on the Hell House's property! Now that's some impressive home security!
Go on.
Oh, that has hurt! Has our dynamic duel already found this house's major design flaw?
Go on.
That giveaway! The architect must have had one too many when he designed this thing!
Take the lead.
I'll show you what I can do.
Got it?
Get fired up.
Oh, that is a stunning turn of events!
And catch.
Hell House! That comes to a complete stop!
Wait.
The lights are on, but nobody's home! Now is the time
almost
to make this house of horrors
No.
burn!
Not yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's in happening?
What the?
Look out!
Just try to call this house warm and inviting now, for the house is pressure! The Hell House! And welcome his first guest! What kind of party is it? I don't know, but I'm glad I wasn't invited.
One more shot. Here it comes. This one's for you.
Looks like our couple's in for another round of musical chairs. Another barrage of chaos coming in hot, folks. Will this... Ladies and gentlemen, you haven't seen anything yet. This fight is only just heating up.
That's it.
Cloud inherits with a stunning reversal.
Get ready.
The Hell House is dead in the water. Now
I'm
that
ending
is
this.
the
One more
price
shot.
you pay for daring to get in the way of true love!
This one's for you!
Well, this haunted house just got a hole! Creepier, folks. What weird
Go on.
evil design is it cooking up this time? Oh, man! Did anyone get the number of that
Gotta
house?
be careful. Come on.
Stay back!
Eris is breaking down barriers and peddling pain! Talk about a girlfriend you can rely on! They're going hard at the house! They'll have to do better than that if they want to raise this roof!
Second wind.
The hell house is
Still in it. Bam!
with that. The gateway to hell slams shut.
Here we go.
You're
done.
So this be the end to our quaint living face of
This
evil.
one's for you!
Any last words?
Left off! We have left off! Ladies and gentlemen, are you seeing this? The world's first lying house! What's this? The old switcheroo? As usual, the Hell House is up to no good!
Gotta be careful. Feeling good.
Making it! We're in the final stretch of this special. Once-in-a-lifetime match. But has our power couple done enough to take home the cup? This could end at any moment. Need to use the bathroom? Suck it up! The crowd is going wild, but no amount of applause is gonna bring this house down. This house has had enough of the neighborhood riffraff. Our tremendous dudes have been put on their hard hats. They know exactly what they need to do to make this house come crashing
One
down.
more shot! Go on!
Bringing that high-flying house back down to earth.
This one's for you!
This house takes security very seriously.
All good.
like a punch, don't they? Cloud and Aerith are on a roll, but can they keep it up?
Just go away! We did it!
And the winners and champions, Cloud and Aerith!